My name is Mike Gottselig with Full Sail University's International Business, and I give you Cirque du Soleil. The Cirque began in 1984 with a group of street performers headed up by Guy Laliberte. However, little did Guy know that his little street performers would become an international sensation. And I must say, by far, this has been my favorite assignment and research that I've done as a student at Full Sail University. But why is the Cirque such a success around the world? Well, for one thing, from its humble beginnings of just a few street performers, the Cirque now employs over 4,000 people from over 40 countries. It also now has 19 shows on every continent aside from Antarctica. What I thought was the most interesting part about the Cirque is as they grew, they understood that they couldn't just be a company that traveled around the world giving shows. As they grew across the world, they knew that they had to be more responsible socially, politically, and economically. They knew that the only way they can continue to grow is to take corporate partnership around the world in the countries that they were performing in. They needed suppliers, they needed employees, they needed costume makers, they needed performers. Being so diverse in culture puts pressure on Cirque du Soleil to be a good corporate citizen. The organization gives back to the communities with outreach programs for the less fortunate people and other programs which they created themselves that are socially responsible. As a matter of fact, in 2009, the company put together the Responsibility Procurement Policy. The introduction of the policy reads, Cirque du Soleil is a corporate citizen that strives to achieve a balance between its economic, social, and environment interest by acting in a manner that is socially meaningful and responsible. Going beyond simple philanthropy, this means ensuring that the organization's values are reflected in all of its business and management decisions. Cirque's sense of good citizenship is part of its genetic makeup, embodied in a process of sharing and inspiration that appeals to all organizations and individuals in the community to stand forth as a fully committed members of society. This is a long-term process progressively achieved through the organization's day-by-day actions. Cirque du Soleil is a truly global organization interacting with a growing number of suppliers and business partners, and we feel that there's a need to set up a responsible procurement program as well as to establish a dialogue with our partners and suppliers on the challenges of social responsibility. With that said, the employees have chosen to join communities and a growing number of individuals to work to build a better world. One way they're doing this is through outreach programs. Since 1989, Cirque du Soleil put up a sum equivalent to 1% of the company's gross revenue into a social and cultural action program, as well as into the One Drop Foundation. The One Drop program is a charitable organization in which water plays a central role as a creative force in generating positive, sustainable effects for local and foreign populations and in the fight against poverty. So that's what the company does on a global scale to be a good corporate citizen. But what about locally? How does it treat its own employees? This was the other thing about this company that really impressed me. This company goes all over the world and recruits talent from 40 different countries. And because they know how the employees are going to feel about homesickness, they pay them the best and they do everything they can to ensure that their performers feel at home. It even impressed me when I was watching the video. It said that once a week they would have a troupe from a country cook some of their native food so that everybody could taste their native food and they could share their traditions and their backgrounds and their country's cultures with the whole group. That is family environment. I love that aspect of the company. In addition to that, they're given the state-of-the-art training facilities in Canada They also are given top-of-the-line living quarters, food. Their situation couldn't be greater. So in conclusion, is it important for Cirque du Soleil to be a good corporate citizen, not only locally but worldwide? Absolutely. Any company that wants to operate on a global international scale must take responsibility not only for its own purposes, but for the communities that it goes into to work. Cirque du Soleil is an example of how to operate an international business. And in my opinion, they've done a great job. Thank you for listening.